What's up everybody? On this episode I'm going to show you how to install a clutch and a flywheel on your 1.6 or 1.8 Miata so that you can get it thrown back in the car and get back on the road. Luckily we have it out of the car, so we're going to be able to get a good look at how this goes down. So like, subscribe if you want to see more. Let's do it. Okay, so we got this brand new flywheel from Luke. I'm going to go ahead and check it out. Comes really nice wrapped up. Remember, these come oiled, so before you install it, you got to remove all the oil. See the oil here? You can see the residue that's on it to keep it from rusting. Let's go ahead and get this installed. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get the flywheel installed. Now there's nothing super complicated about this. There are really no marks that you have to line up or anything like that. There's just 6 bolts, 6 holes. So the only thing you need to worry about doing is putting some Loctite. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put on our flywheel. As you'll see, this is perfectly matched up with the size of the crank. So you sit it up here. Get it lined up. Close as you can get it. And go ahead and get your bolts started. Snug these up. Alright, so we're back in our enthusiast manual again, looking for the torque specs. This is an incredible tool to have for the price. So it shows us that they're going to be 74 foot-pounds for the flywheel bolts. So let's go ahead and get those torqued down. And again, notice they even recommend using this procedure. You're going to put 2 of the clutch bolts in, and then you're going to go ahead and torque them down in sequence. We're going to do 50 pounds first and then 74 pounds. Alright, next thing we're going to do is get this clutch kit out. We got the stock replacement style clutch from Exati. That's who makes the stock clutches for Mazda. So let's go ahead and see what's in the box. So in the box, got a cute little clutch disc. And the pressure plate. Now also included with the kit, several crucial pieces. Of course, a new throwout bearing, the clutch alignment tool, and a new pilot bearing, which we're going to go ahead and install right now. Okay, so we're going to get ahead and install the pilot bearing. Now we've installed a little bit of wheel bearing grease on this just to give it a little bit of lube before we put it in, but just like the rear main seal, we've got a socket that's just a similar size, just a hair tiny smaller, just a hair smaller than the bearing itself, so we can tap it in. But we're going to go ahead and just get it started by hand so that it's as straight as possible. And then we will tap it in with our rubber hammer. It doesn't take much. Now you want it to be flush with the flywheel. And what this is going to do, this pilot bearing, your shaft, the input shaft from your transmission is going to sit in here. That's what it's going to spin on. So this is critical. Make sure this is smooth, make sure it's free and not bound up. But it looks good, it's flush, so we're good to go there. Okay, so the next step is going to be to install our pressure plate and our clutch discs. So we're going to make sure, again, this is covered in oil from the factory to keep it from rusting. So we need to go ahead and spray this down with some brake clean and get all of that off. So before you install this clutch disc, do yourself a huge favor and go ahead and check it with the transmission to make sure that the teeth are correct, because, you know, heaven forbid you got the wrong one and then you're in a world of a mess later on when you try to make the transmission. So you'll notice that both of these look similar, right? So which side is supposed to go out? Ah, there it is. See, transmission side, TM side. So we know that this is the side that goes towards the transmission. Some of these will have markings that say flywheel side, some say transmission side. Just double check and make sure, because you do not want to make that mistake. So the next thing you want to do is just take your clutch alignment tool, fit it into your clutch, and then put it into your pilot bearing. Now this is going to ensure that this is freed up, spins freely, everything is good. This, you're going to have to be able to pull this out freely, so leave this in. Again, make sure you leave this in. You need to be able to pull this out by hand once your pressure plate is on. So this is critical. This is one of the most important parts. Alright, so installing your pressure plate, you'll notice that there are studs here, 1, 2, 3. You're going to line those up with the holes on the outside diameter of the pressure plate. There's little indentions here in the center. In the center of each one, that's where your 3 studs are. If they're not in the correct holes, you're not going to be able to line them up with all of your bolt holes. So again, you want to make sure that this is clear, this is free. So kind of keep jiggling that around. And once you put your bolts back in, only put these hand tight. Do not tighten these all the way yet. Okay, so here's the most crucial part of your clutch install. Again, you got to make sure that this right here, your clutch alignment tool, freely moves in and out. So then you can go ahead and just keep wiggling this around, tighten up some of your bolts on your pressure plate. Again, you got to make sure this is still free. Okay, we are back in our enthusiast manual to look for the torque specs for the pressure plate, and here they are. 22 Newton meters or 17 pound-feet. We're going to go with 22 Newton meters. On, flywheel's on, everything looks good. But if you made it this far in the video and you haven't noticed yet, I made one major mistake that you should not make if you watch this video. I forgot to put the backer plate on. So I am 1,000,000,000% not taking that all back off. So what did I do? I cut a little slit in the top here. So we're going to go ahead and throw this back on and hope for the best. Should be fine, right? Right. Shouldn't lose any stability. This should be totally fine. I don't see why it would cause any problems. But if it does, who do I gotta blame? I'm gonna blame myself. But again, I went ahead and made a slit right at the top there. It's gonna have a bolt here, in there through the trans, so I can't imagine that's going to cause any problems. But we'll know if it does.